You eventually made your way to Argentina because you heard that you had family and you gave up everything. Family was the most important thing for you.
Okay. I had everything in Europe, power in Poland by saving Jewish children. I had the biggest papers that I could do anything I wanted. Nobody could stop me. And under communism, the word Jewish was non-kosher. How to save Jewish children from monasteries, from churches, from orphanages. Jewish children. And the word Jewish is not. How could I do it? I had a brilliant mind, a brilliant idea, Min HaShamayim. They asked me, the general of the Polish security, Ubezpieczeństwo Pańskie. That name, if you mention in Poland, is a shiva. They were terrible. They were communists. And anything anti, they killed. The communists were very brutal. And I worked by them. I had their document. And when I came and ran around to find Jewish children, I could do a tremendous job, but everybody was afraid of me. I pretended to be one of those.
What year was this?
45, 46. I have 45, I have 46. And I was successful in saving 600 Jewish children. So what did I answer? I was introduced to the general, General Bielecki. He was the head of that big UB. And he told me what I was recommended by someone. And he said to me, what do you want to do? I couldn't tell him I want to save Jewish children. That one gave me a tremendous idea. Opened my mind. I want to unite families that the Nazis have separated. And that was music to their ears. And they issued me the most powerful papers that nobody could stop me in my job.
So you could go to any monastery or any orphanage?
I took, wherever came to a village or to a town, I took the police with me from the town. I said, you come. And I had to obey what I said. I had the power to do anything there. Anyways, 600 children. It wasn't easy. It took about a year's job, and put them in a hotel, get a hotel with the psychologists, with nurses, bring mostly girls, like 90% girls, about 10% boys. Girls was easier to hide.
Did you have any contact with Rabbi Schoenfeld?
I knew him, but not in that job, no. That job was done by me with a friend, and I got 40 people from the security. I had 20 in uniforms and 20 detectives and civilian working with me.
And all over Poland, you went to the different...
Everywhere. I had weaponry to protect the children, because we were attacked by the anti-communist regime, but the government in exile. Was very, very difficult, not easy. I hated the communists, but I had to play the role, you know. I hated them.
And did you manage to reunite some of the children with their parents?
One mother was saved. One mother came back, and the child didn't want to go to the mother even. You're not my mother. My mother's somewhere else. The one that she was there for 5 years. Yeah, she was a little baby. Maybe a year or something, and now she's 6 or 7. She didn't know any mother. Anyway, it took her time until the mother, she recognized them. She didn't recognize, but she said, okay. And then she wanted to go to church every morning, because every morning she was taken to church. So the mother said, oh, the mass is over. The mass is over. The mass, whatever in the church. Next day, oh, we didn't start, we're going later, let's have breakfast first. And then my headache, days, every day is something else, not to go to church. One day the little girl said, Now I know why you don't want to go to church. Now I know. Like this. Now I know. So the mother said, what do you know? You are very stingy. Why am I stingy? Because when the priest goes around in the church to collect the money, you are stingy to put a few groschen into his plate. That's why I don't want to go to church. A child's mind, you know. Anyway, there's a lot to talk about it. Ask your questions. I'll answer you all the questions so to satisfy O'Connor.
Just what happened with eventually with those children?
Those children.
Did they come to Eretz Israel?
Those children, there's a big process. They were brought to Trieste, put them on a boat in Trieste, and sent them to Palestine. And the British didn't let them in. And they sent them to Cyprus. But eventually they all came here. Okay. I met two of them in Auschwitz. They didn't know who I was, and I most probably saved them, brought them to a place, Rapkazdruy. That was the place where I brought the children, and they were there. They don't know me, I don't know them. So the ladies are now in the 80s. But they were there, so if they were there, I was, yeah. So that's one thing, and the Nazi hunting was another big job after the war. And then I had everything. The Zionist leaders wanted me to come to study, because one day we will have a state. One day it will have a state. In Yiddish they used to tell me, Yasale, said kommen, do you understand Yiddish? Said kommen der Tag mit oben a Medina. Said kommen that we will have a Medina. One day we'll have a Medina. And we will need politicians, we'll need diplomats. We want you to go to study. We will send you to study. We'll give you everything. And all my friends became ministers in Israel. All of them. And so I didn't know what to do. And some people want me to go to America. The dean from Yeshiva University in New York wanted me, sent letters, I should come there. I didn't want to go. I was thinking where to go, what to do. And then I saw a placard. After the war, people were from America, from England, from Australia, from all over the world. They were from South Africa, from everywhere. They were looking for survivors. And then I see a placard. Somebody in Argentina is looking for my grandfather, for my father, for my mother, for my uncles, for my aunts, for all the ganze Mishpuche. With the same name, Levkovich. No? So I answered the call, and I said, I am the son from the. They send me they send me a ticket to go by boat to Argentina. So then I was, what do I do? I have everything. Money I didn't have. I didn't need any money because I had everything I wanted, power and everything.
Can I ask, which were the ministers?
What?
Do you remember the name of some of the
Zorch Wahrhaftig.
You knew Zorch Wahrhaftig?
Sure, he wanted me to come here. Pinkers, Moshe Shapiro, Yossel Bug, all those Chevre, Mehammer, Shaya Bernstein. So many of them, all of them. Yitzhak Raphael, Rav Maimon, I was Mizrahi. They all wanted me to go. They became all ministers here in Israel, in the government later. So I had everything, but one thing I didn't have, and I was dying for that thing. Family. So since in Argentina there was family, I said, you cannot buy me for millions, for hundreds of millions, family. And so I tried to get to Argentina, and I had big problems. Couldn't get to Argentina. They wouldn't give me a visa because it's Jewish. I should take out. I got a big story. So I ended up in Brazil. I went to the consul in Vienna. I went to the consul in Munich. I went to the consul in Paris because my boat left from Le Havre. So I all those consuls wouldn't give me a visa because take out Jewish, put Christian. And then I saw I was in big trouble. So I went to the Brazilian consul, said, I have a ticket to go to Buenos Aires, I have a passport and everything. Could you give me a transit visa? I heard, I just made up a story. I heard Brazil is so beautiful, Rio de Janeiro. I heard that the boat is going to stop there to load coffee, Brazilian coffee. So I figured I cannot go to Argentina. They didn't let me. I'll go to Brazil. From there, I will see I will be closer. You know, I came to Brazil. I had $7 in my pocket, and I didn't know one word of Portuguese, and I didn't know a single Beria, a single person in Brazil. I walked down from the boat. I didn't know, do I go straight? Do I go right? Do I go left? Go backwards? Where do I go? What do I do? You know, I was there about 6 months, and I had a lot of friends, and I already made money, and I almost didn't want to go to Argentina, but that was a great uncle, my grandfather's brother, my Zayda's brother, my father's brother, an uncle from my father. So I was the only survivor from. So he wanted Dafke me to come to Argentina.
What was his name?
What?
Do you remember?
Yeah, Israel Levkovich.
Israel Levkovich.
Yeah.
And he owned a factory in Argentina.
He had a factory. Yeah, he had a factory.
What type of factory?
Frames of pictures, and in the olden time they had from beds also with gold leaves made a piece of furniture with fancy pieces. Yeah, so I was actually working when I came there in his factory. He gave me an envelope every Friday, a few pesos, you know. But I didn't stay long there because it wasn't.
But you were happy to meet him, to see him.
Of course.
And they were good to you.
Yeah. Good to me, but I left. I didn't. I didn't. It was different. I was more traditional, more Jewish, more really, and they were not so.
And then, what type of work did you do after you left?
From them?
Yeah.
I found a job. I found where to sleep. I slept on newspapers. Somebody that I took a little on the roof, a little hatch there. I didn't have anything, so anyway. And
wasn't your uncle upset that you left?
They didn't even know where I went. I was stupid at the time, and I had. Anyway, it's a lot of stories. I left everything. My aunt, that aunt, came over to me, and she says to me, Jose, you know, since you came, none of the boys come to take out my daughter. They all think that you are the one for my daughter. So I said to her, I'm the troublemaker. I'm leaving, and left everything that I had there. I had documents, I had wonderful pictures, I had all kind of things there. Left everything in stupid. What can you do? I'm the troublemaker. I'm leaving. Goodbye. And left. I still nothing.
Did you get back the documents?
No, nothing. When I came back, I heard after years later. I heard from friends of them. I met once. They didn't know where I am. I didn't know nothing. Anyways. I was not with them, you know, I didn't think right. I shouldn't have done what I did, but anyways, I did it. I heard once that she's getting married, that girl, that they thought for me, the daughter. So I went to the wedding. I heard in which my daughter, I heard where she. Go ahead.
I can't believe. So you left your uncle with your documents and you just left. And it must have been very hard to leave. How long were you staying with them?
Maybe 2 months.
And then...
maybe 2 months. It was not, I want to keep Shabbat, I want to...
It was a different world.
I want to kosher. It was not comfortable. And... yeah, looking back, I was very stupid.
But you found work to support yourself?
Yeah.
And and you started to learn Spanish?
Yeah, don't ask.
It came easy to you?
I was whatever door I knocked, they were opening and receiving me with open hands. Whatever I did for jobs and for friends and I was always nice with people, and I was always respecting people. And that was my son, Tuvia. Everybody that came to him, and he was such a busy man. He was a managing director of the Citigroup. Citigroup had at the time 600,000 employees. Do you know what organization this is? He was once invited to Iceland to speak to the Central Bank of Iceland. So he started his speech and he said like this: "Your country and my firm have a big similarity. And you want to know what the similarity between your country and my firm is? Your country has 600,000 citizens, and my firm has 600,000 employees."
Amazing.
And he was the managing director. There are not two managing directors there. I remember when he was small still, when he started and he became vice president. Oh, he told him vice president. So he said to me, "Daddy, do you know how many vice presidents there are?" I said, "No, how many?" "About 5,000. So what's the big deal? But the managing director, this is something else. And then he was the United States chief strategist.
Wow. It's a big post.
It's hard to explain who he was. The whole world knew him. He was in all the world, in every country. Israel, at the Levaya here in Israel, in Yerushalayim, they brought the Oren, the body. So we made the Levaya on Har Menuchos. So the director, the governor from the Bank of Israel came to the funeral, telling me, they came over and said, we knew your son. We invited him to come to speak to the Bank of Israel, and we were very impressed by him, and that's why we came to honor his.
Wow.
So we want you to know that we are here. And you know who came for the shiva here? Mayor Leon.
The mayor of Jerusalem.
Mayor of Jerusalem.
You had Asher Weiss. Asher Weiss is one of the great rabbis.
And I have another 5 rabbis came. Rabbis, we'll see them. The Badishla Rebbe, the Kamarna Rebbe, the Toldos Moshe Rebbe. One Rebbe has a magazine there that he put up. You can see it there in the back, there in the back there.
Yeah, I can see it.
No, yeah, there. Oh, this is something else. Behind it, you can see. That is the one that he put there a little picture of me in the back. I think here. Nice. And then he had a whole. Then he had here. Just a minute. He starts here. I can read, but I don't understand Hebrew. That's where did he start here? A half a journal is about me. Oh, here he starts.
Wow, this is with the Hasidic.
Yeah.
And here he does a whole.
Yeah. All those pages. All those pages. Yeah. All those pages.
This is inside the
pictures. That. Anyway.
Okay, so Joseph, I just want to ask you.
Yeah.
And you found, how long after you left your uncle did you stay in Argentina?
8 years.
8 years.
I almost didn't want to leave, but.
When did you meet your wife?
Oh, there we're going.
Okay.
I went for business to a country called Colombia, Bogota. And a friend of mine in Argentina asked me to try to find a relative of theirs that is in Colombia. So I said, give me the name. So she didn't even know the name. Said, let me ask my brother. The brother was in Israel. And the brother was the second hand from Rabin.
From Rabin?
Rabin, yeah, Yitzhak Rabin. Yitzhak Rabin came in my house in Montreal together with Abraham Liff. Abraham Liff was a general in the Israeli army in information. And he became Minister Politiciario in Washington. So she asked her brother, and the brother remembered the name, and I looked up at that name, and I found it. It's like a pin in a haystack. I found that name, and they invited me to their house, and they invited the whole family, a big family. Anyways, short story. The daughter of that man I married. After 3-4 years coming to Colombia, I made contact in business there.
What type of business were you doing?
There wasn't a diamond business.
And you started in Argentina?
Yes. With a friend that his family was in the diamond business.
Were you polishing the diamonds to begin? Or
the what?
What were you doing in the...
Buying and selling.
And were you ever polishing diamonds or?
Later on, I already polished and cut and all that.
Did you have your own business? Was it your own business?
Yeah.
In Argentina?
What?
In Argentina?
In Argentina, it wasn't a business. In Colombia, wasn't a business. And in Canada, wasn't a business.
And you had your own business?
Yeah. My own business, no partners.
So when you and you started it all by yourself, you had how did you start? You had so little money.
Well, I had I told you a friend that his family was from Belgium, and his family was in the diamond business, and he was a young boy, came to Argentina after the war because there was a big scare after the war in Europe that the Russians will. After Churchill was pleading to Roosevelt. Now is the time to liquidate communism. In Stalin with his communism, and America didn't want. And the Russians did big trouble. They make a blockade of Berlin. They only left a
corridor.
A corridor. You remember the story. So Jews have a sensitive nose. And when they felt that there's trouble here, they started running. So a lot of them went to Brazil, a lot went to Argentina for a while, for a year, 2, 3, 5, until things settled. And then they went back to certain places. Yeah. So I met my friend, we became like brothers. And we started to deal together. He had an idea about diamonds, a little bit, but we learned with the practice.
Because there's a big diamond also in Brazil. There's a very big Jewish...
After the war, we did business with Brazil because there was no other sources yet. Brazil had in the ground some...
And South Africa, did you do business with South Africa?
I went once to South Africa, to Johannesburg, and it wasn't Matzliach. The beers were making auctions there. And I bought, I didn't make any money, lost. It was too complicated because people came there and one was outbidding the other, and we paid a lot and it was hard to sell. We couldn't sell it, we had to lose money. So once I went there, I didn't go anymore. I went to other places to buy wherever I could buy. I went to Israel to buy at the time. I went to Africa to buy. I went to Antwerp. Mostly I went to Antwerp, and also in a bigger diamond, it was New York became the big center. You see, small goods was the labor involved, a lot of labor. Big stones, labor doesn't matter. It costs more or something because there's a lot of money involved in it.
In Belgium, there's the Horowitz. There was some
in Belgium, Antwerp used to be the biggest diamond.
There was a very big. Who was head of the Brachfeld.
Brachfeld.
You knew the Brachfeld?
Yes, sure, not Brachfeld.
He was head of the.
I was once competing with him for a parcel, and he bought it out. He bought more. He gave more money.
He lives here in Yerushalayim.
What?
He lives in Yerushalayim. Brachfeld.
He's not alive anymore.
No, the brother.
The
brother's alive. The brother is alive. He's 90, and he lives in.
I don't think. No, his generation is gone.
No, I met him. I met him recently.
How old would he be?
90. His wife.
Oh, so one of the brothers,
90s.
maybe. Yeah, could be.
His wife was nifter recently, but he was head of the Diamond Exchange in
Where?
In Antwerp. He's in his 90s. His brother.
Yeah, I know. There were a few. There was the Browns from Africa. There were a few big ones. I was sitting in the barrels, and whatever I need, I bought. There was a lot of offers there.
So when you first met your wife, and this was in Colombia.
Colombia, and then they didn't want to go to Argentina. They wanted me to. They were very, very at home in Colombia.
And your wife is Perla.
Perla, yeah.
Was it love at first sight?
When I came there and I was invited by them a few times, she wasn't there. She was studying in America, in Berkeley, the university. And at the last time when I was there, I say a little girl, a beautiful little girl, little girl. So I said, "Who is that little girl?" It's our baby daughter. They were only boys. They had 5 boys, and she was and she was my life.
How old were you at this time?
When I married her, I was 26.
And how old was Perla?
24? No, I was 27. She was 25.
And what did she study in Berkeley?
What
did she study?
She graduated there. She had a doctorate in I will remember in a minute. I have some blockage there. Something in the bloods.
In the medical field. Hematology.
Bacteriology.
Wow.
I told you in a minute. I remember.
Sure.
Yeah. So she started working, made a lab with a partner, with a girl, another woman. When we got married, I said, "Leave it aside. We don't need it." She sold it to the other girl. And she didn't practice anymore.
And was it love at first sight when you met her?
Yeah, she was unbelievable.
And how soon after you first met her did you decide to get married?
Well, after meeting her, I came to Colombia maybe 4 or 5 times. I met her there the 3rd time or the 2nd time, something like that. And we wrote letters in the olden days, letters, love letters, sending for holiday flowers, telegrams, all kind of those in those years. And then they came to check me out. She came with her father to Argentina to check me out. You know how long it took from Bogota to Buenos Aires? 3-4 days to fly.
Really?
There was no direct flight. You had to go stay overnight.
Wow.
In those days, the fly is not. There wasn't.
And you mentioned you went to your uncle's to that wedding of their daughter?
Yes. So I came to the door.
This is before you had met your wife?
Yeah, sure. No, but when I met a friend, by the way, in a restaurant. So I said, "Did you see uncle? You know that your cousin, the daughter Esther, is getting married?" "Oh," I said, "Mazel tov." And then they told me the day when she gets married and where. So I said, "You know what? I'm going to go there." And I came to the door and looked in, picked in, and I saw the old Esther. I said, "You know what? Not going in." And didn't go. I did so many stupid things in my life.
Wow. But you saw the family. It's a pity you didn't go.
When he was very sick, I heard that he was very sick. I got the courage and I went to see him. Went to the house there. So he had like whiskers, the beard. So he asked me, "Can you shave me?" So I took a razor and I shaved him. And we're talking. And then I left there a suitcase with this and nothing there. They probably took the whole suitcase with everything and throw it out. I don't know. They said there's nothing there. After years later, you know.
But they must have been happy to see you.
He was very happy to see me, yeah. Then, yeah, all right. That cousin, the girl, came to Montreal to visit me.
Wonderful.
She's an old woman. She's still alive. She's now 94, now something like that, 94, 95.
And where does she live?
In Buenos Aires.
She's still...
Her grandchildren came to visit me.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Because it's your mishpacha, it's your family.
Yeah, distant, very distant, yeah. They came to, some of her children came, and her children are also older people. I wasn't interested to get married at the time. She was a nice girl and everything, but I had other ideas. I want to establish myself. I want to do something. No, we're not getting married yet. I still had a lot of fantasies to do. Yeah. So anyway.
Okay. So now, did you ever get a call from Picasso's wife to exchange a painting for a diamond?
No. What is the story with Picasso? I had in the diamond business, in a hotel, in a restaurant. That is how we did business. I had a little table in that restaurant, a cafeteria, confiteria, it wasn't called. I had a little table there. I ate there. I drank there. And I had client coming, and I had a scale and all the kalim for diamond, loop, the magnifying glass. And people came to buy, and then I offered them drinks, and I offered the cafe had the shop. So one of my customers used to buy from me diamonds, and sometimes he took in consignment, not buying even, in consignment, and he went to Spain to sell it, from Argentina to Spain. He was a Don Juan, very good-looking guy. He somehow became friends with his wife, I forgot their name already, but I forgot, can't remember.
This is Picasso's wife?
Yeah. And he sold some diamond to her. I think he had more of the business with her. He had some private relations with her too. So he came back and he nudged at me, come with me to Spain, let's go there, we will be able to sell diamond, we'll make money. And I did not listen to him. So he came back once from Spain and brought me 7 photographs from 7 paintings. And she wants to sell those 7 paintings. She wants $2,000 for a painting. She wants $14,000. $14,000, that was in 1948, was a fortune. For $14,000, I could buy a lot of diamonds and sell and make money. So I said, verdreh me nicht kein Kopf, don't hack me a Chinik. I don't need a picture. I took those pictures and I look at them. What do you see there? There's nothing there. What do you bring? What do you bring me in business? I don't want to. We could make money. He tried to convince me. I said no. We should buy those pictures. We could come with me. We'll sell diamonds. Buy the picture. I said, I don't go, and I don't want to go. I knew that it's involved with all kind of, I was a religious Jew, and that was to go to Shika, go with the Nikavas there and have all kind of sleeping with them and all those. No, that's not for me. I said, Mario, this is not for me. Eso no es para mí. That is not for me. I don't want it. And no good. So listen, who is a prophet? Those 7 pictures could be today a few $100 million.
Yeah. But who was to know? It was abstract art. It was something very.
He could have brought them to me. But I needed that money to work with this, for to work by diamond buying. But who would have known that this is going to be fortunes? And I didn't want to have anything to do with that woman. She was, she was not truthful to her husband.
Yeah.
She was sleeping with him and with all those things, and he wanted to slap me into those. This is not for me.
Now, can I ask, when did you first go to Montreal, and why did you decide to leave Argentina?
Argentina, I left because when I loved my wife, she doesn't want to live in Argentina, only in Colombia. Because Colombia was, her father was very influential there. He knew the president, he knew the judges from the Supreme Court.
What did he do?
He had stores. He had stores, and they all were customers of his. And he knew, he was in the Masonic Lodge with all of them, and he knew them. He was very, so he brought to Colombia everyone from Poland, whoever wanted. He brought brothers. They were about 16 children. I don't know how many. So he brought brothers, he brought sisters, he brought nieces, he brought nephews, he brought cousins, he brought whoever wanted to come, he brought them. He could do anything. Whatever he needed, the president, the judges, the ministers, he had them all, all his friends. He could do anything. So whoever wanted to come, he made them papers to come. And he had a big family there. They were very well settled there, and they were well-to-do also. So he didn't want my future father-in-law. He didn't want that his daughter should go live in Argentina. And I was very popular in Argentina. I was very, very in the community. I was in the Daya and in the Amia and all the Jewish organizations from Mizrahi, Mm-hmm. I was very, very comfortable in making money and everything. And people knew me everywhere. When they came to check me out, we went to a restaurant. Every minute somebody else came over. From the press, they came over because I was in the Daya, and they wanted to know what the decisions we made about whatever. So they saw that I wasn't just from the street, anybody. So it was important, and they wanted to what, and I loved her, and so I decided, she was. But the same thing I do here, I could do there. But I was alone. What's the difference? I didn't have any. So I settled in Bogota, and I was comfortable there too. I made money there. I made good money.
How long were you in Colombia?
5 years.
5 years.
Until my first son was school age, and I had to run because I wanted to give him education that I didn't have. I wanted to give my yeshiva education. In Colombia, I couldn't do it.
There was no religious schools.
I tried. We brought teachers. We brought. You need. A general has to have an army, otherwise it doesn't. So it wasn't. The community wasn't. Now it's much better. Now, Chabad and so many volunteers and a lot of Israelis there. Anyway, so it wasn't for me. So I went to New York. I want to settle in New York. I had already a few dollars. Want to invest something when I came with the family. I should have parnose. So it didn't work in New York. I wish it would have worked. I would be a multi-millionaire. But if I would have bought what they showed me, properties, and I made the chayv, and I said, "Won't give me parnose." So the broker said, "You don't look at now. This is future. Oh, was he right? So I said, "You know what? When I bring my family here, I had 2 children. And one was 5 years to put him in a school, and the other was 3 years. So I said, you tell me future, when I bring my family, I cannot eat in the future, I have to eat now." And that was very, very, if I would only know. Well, if I would have invested then, anyway, wasn't Bashir. So I met a friend in a hotel in New York, and he came from Argentina. Also, that in South America, you have a few dollars. You're looking for safe haven. Because in the devaluations, in the revolutions, and he told me he was looking in New York and couldn't find anything proper, and he went to Canada. He went to Montreal and he bought a building on Sherbrooke Street. He told me where I would, and he will give me go. You're already here. Cost you $18 a flight with Eastern Airlines to Montreal. Go, I'll give you my broker. I went and I bought their property. It wasn't good, but anyway. So I settled there, and I was sitting there for 57 years.
Then when you first came to Montreal, you found, and back there were a lot of survivors. There was a established community. There was a very, very strong community.
Strong community, very strong. Not so strong now, because political people went to Toronto. Jews went to Toronto.
And it went after the war. There were many survivors.
Yeah. A lot of people couldn't come to America. They went to Canada. From Canada, they went to America.
Yeah.
So I was settled there, and I did the same business there. And Baruch Hashem, that's it.
And when you came to Montreal, did you feel Canadian? Did you feel connected to the culture, to the sports?
The thing is, I got connected with Jews, with Mizrahi, and I started to be active with them.
So the head of World Mizrahi, he's still alive. He's nearly 100.
Kurt Rothschild. Sure. I know for 60 years I was working with him.
So Kurt still goes to work every day in World Mizrahi.
Not anymore.
But
not
still,
now.
I know his secretary was
101. They celebrated last week. Last week.
He was 101.
Yeah. He used to come every Shabbos here because the daughter was living here. And every Shabbos he was here, but not for then the man that had the apartment here came from Switzerland. He was living in Switzerland, and he wanted his apartment back. Like when I came here, I called the people that were living here. I said, I want my apartment back. I'm making aliyah because I had the contract. Whenever I make aliyah, you have to no. So the daughter has to move out from here. So he doesn't come anymore. But I saw him for the 7 years I was here. For 6 years that he was come every Shabbos. He get an aliyah. He always made me a Mishaberach. We were working together for so long. Yeah. So when I came to Canada, I was feeling very good. I made friends there, and I was active in Mizrahi and in Bnei Akiva, and I felt at home. And I did business the same that I did everywhere. And I did have a lot of honest customers because I was very honest with my customers. And I was very loyal to them. And I did never take advantage of them because I want them tomorrow to come back again. And they did. So Baruch Hashem.
Wow. Did you ever have a factory in Cuba?
Yes. Yes. By Castro. Because labor was very cheap. Where did you get those information?
This Joe
okay. Labor was very cheap, and to make small diamonds, 100 per carat, or 200 per small, is a lot of labor involved. So the communist regime in Cuba were dying for dollars. They needed to buy medicine, they needed to do whatever important things, food, whatever. And they were boycotted by the Americans. Since I was living in Canada, Canada didn't boycott them. So I could go free.
You used to go?
Sure. So I made a deal with them. And I told them where to get the rough diamonds. I want to be partners with them. So say communism doesn't allow partnership with capitalism. We will buy the diamonds, the rough, in England, by the beers. You will give us so much and so many percentages on the rough, and you will pay us for labor. And we made that contract with all the things. So we made a deal, and I was working for a few years with them, and they made money and I made money.
Did you ever meet Castro?
No. I met the Minister of Light Industries. Because
and the Kehillah, they've got a Jewish community there in Havana.
Every Shabbos I went to shul. I was davening there. I was making kiddush, and all mixed how, and you know, and we send there gefilte fish, and we send there matzahs, and we send there meat in boxes, conserved, and all kind of things. In Shabbos we made a big kiddush. So a lot of the half Jews, intermarried Jews, they came for the kiddush, you know. So I spoke there to them. I felt a little bit free there because the regime was terrible, very, very strict. They controlled every foreigner that came, whatever. I was a little bit free there because I was invited by the government, and they protected me. You know, and so I could speak there about religion and this and that. I wasn't afraid. And I had a KGB agent with me always, you know, he was to protect me, but he was to spy on me also.
Wow. And how long did you have the factory, or did you work
until they decided that they took out the expert who ran the factory, and they put in communist leaders, and they ruined it, and we started losing money until the minister came and said, Jose, we're closing the factory, we're losing money. And I told him, the minister was a big communist too, of course, Castro's a friend. I told him, you took out the expert and you put in party members. Party members didn't know what to do. The expert knew what to do, so you took them out, and that's the problem.
And Jose, you also had building projects in Israel. You were
in 1967 war. We started making this building, 3 big buildings we built.
This is right on the border. This was right on the border.
Right here, the Niemann's land, nobody's land. Yeah. So we got that land from Keren Kayemet. And we were 6 partners, and we wanted to build Yerushalayim. Wow. So we came here, we put in a lot of money. We already had money at the time, I already had some money. I was not successful with the property I bought.
Wait, the property
in Montreal. Instead of New York, I would have become a multi-millionaire, and the property in Canada wasn't good. And so, anyways, so why would they talk about the property?
So you started building.
Okay, yeah. So I had already money, so we got 6 people. We got together, friends, and we said we're going to build in Israel. We're going to build in Yerushalayim. So we made a company, and we registered the company here. We brought in money. Dollars was prohibited at the time. Dollars and that. So we had to have a foreign company. I don't know where. I think Luxembourg. I think. So we could have dollars. And we got that land, and we started building 3 big buildings. Those 2 buildings like this, half crescent, and one long. It had about 200 apartments or something. So those 3 buildings, it was a bit hard to sell. The 6-day war came in the middle, we had to stop. After 6-day war, we started strong to build. And in 1970, they were finished, those buildings, and we started selling. Selling was very difficult also. And then came a big problem. Then the government of Israel went bankrupt, called Pichut.
Yeah.
I don't know, in the early 80s. Do you know about that? Devaluated the money.
Devaluation was...
What?
The devaluation was unbelievable.
They devaluated the money, they closed the bank, it was a big problem. And we lost the money, we lost all the money. If we would have the properties today, we were not millionaires, but billionaires. But anyway, we lost it and finished. No way how to... Don't cry over.
Is this one of the apartments from one of the buildings that you bought?
This is one of them that I bought this apartment then.
And you kept it?
Kept it empty. It was empty here for about 15 years.
But you kept it?
Kept it all the time, yeah. We thought maybe we'll come for a yontif or something, but it was those days were very hard to come here from Canada. It took a week to come here. You have to go to different places to stay overnight, you know. There was no direct flights. You had to go to Rome, stay there, and then you have to go to Greece or whatever. It was so. Then I came here one day. The dust was so high. When I walked, the dust lifted. I opened the trees. Dead birds fell out, little eggs. I said, no, I will have to rent it. So I rented it for $100 a month.
Gee.
At the time. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had a wonderful wife. You were married for how many years were you married?
We were married 54 till 210, 220, yeah. No, 29. So 54, so you have 46, 56 years, something like that.
It's a big blessing. And your children.
But I lost her. That was a dead knock for me when I lost her. I was so happy with her. She was my life, and the children, everybody, the whole world loved her. People call me today still, from Montreal, that were enchanted by my wife. Her gourmet, her baking, inviting guests always people in the house. Oh, our open house, we had a big house, beautiful house. Anyway, was
your children Ziggy and Tuvia, and Sheila.
Tuvia was a giant. Tuvia was unbelievable, famous name in the world, the most brilliant man. Japan knew them, China knew them, Hong Kong knew them, Australia knew them. Everywhere, there wasn't a country he wasn't. He always invited all over. He was invited here, he was invited there, everywhere. He was a big man on Wall Street.
Did you speak to your children about the Shoah when they were growing up?
Not when they were small, later on. Only later on they started asking.
And at what age, roughly, did they
The thing is, I did not want them to know, to grow with the complexity of being Jews that we have to suffer. Later on, I used to open a little bit to tell them, oh, my father, my mother, my brothers, and that. And then they wanted to know, Daddy, you have to tell us. Daddy, you have to talk. Daddy, if you won't tell us, we will never know. We have to talk. So then I started writing books and this and that, making the movie.
And when did you have the tattoo removed?
In Colombia.
In Colombia.
My wife went to me to the plastic surgeon. And she was actually said, why do you have to do it? I said, I don't want it. Everybody asked me, but when people didn't know. In Colombia, nobody knew about. In Europe, people knew. In America, people knew about Auschwitz with the numbers and everything. Nobody knew. And I was young, went to swimming pool, this, Goyim, they used to ask me, I didn't know. Anyway, so I removed it. I did a lot of stupid things in my life. Spontaneously. I have to think. You cannot do things. I learned the hard way. You know what I did? Stupid things again. There was a rabbi. When I moved to Canada, I was in Canada 1 week. A neighbor next door that I met a few times during the week that I was there. Hello, hello, hello. And he introduced him to me and said, I'm Rabbi Moshe Cohen. Fine. And one day he walks in with a rabbi for money. So I said, I'm here a week, 10 days. I didn't make a penny. I'm spending every day. I'm going to the bank, take out money, spending, buying this, buying a table, buying a chair, buying a bed, buying this, not making a penny. Anyway, I took out a $2 bill, was a red $2 bill, It was money at the time, in 1954. It was big money. To give you an idea, a post stamp was 2 cents.
Yeah.
You had 3 Chayil rolls for a quarter, for 25 cents. It was a train ride was 4 cents. You know, it is the $2 was big.
Money.
They wouldn't take it. So I put it back in my pocket. A week, 2 later, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that same rabbi neighbor said, Mr. Levkovich, you know, I came to you at the time with a very, very choshev rabbi, and he told me a name, Aaron Kotler.
Wow.
So I said, Kotler, Schmottler, I don't know, I had never heard that name.
Ooh.
I had never heard that name. So he started to explain me who he was and a young man with a black little beard, but didn't mean anything to me. And I didn't have that name, I never heard in my life. Anyway, later on, after a while, he explained me what he's doing in New Jersey somewhere. Lakewood, yes, building Medrish Gevoya, something. Those years, I gave him $50, was a fortune. And so then I heard already years later who Aaron Kotler is. I said, oh my God, he was in my house and I like throw him out. They gave him $2 he didn't want to take. If I would have known, I would have sit down, maybe Al Chaim or something, you know. I didn't know. So okay, that was one thing. The other thing, I have no family whatsoever. My wife had a lot of families. My wife had an uncle here, the mother's sister, husband. He was one of the Chaim Perl. He was one of the founders of Bnei Brak. He has a street in Bnei Brak, Chaim Perl. And who Chaim Perl is, I'll tell you. Do you know about the Wall Street journalist Danny Pearl?
Yes.
This was a grandson of him.
Wow.
And here you have me, my wife, and Yehuda Pearl, his father. This is Yehuda Pearl. He came to visit us in Montreal. He's a professor. So this is me, this is my wife, and this is Yehuda Pearl. This is a first cousin of my wife. Okay, so why do I tell you that story? He has a big street in Bnei Brak, Chaim Perl. And I have a book. He was one of the founders of Bnei Brak. So we're sitting, once I came to Israel, and sitting on a balcony, and the only house that he has that had 3 floors, number 7, Rehov Rabakira Sheva. The all other one little. Bnei Brak was one street, no more. When I was in Bnei Brak not long ago, they showed me, like New York.
It's amazing, it is.
I'm talking 60 years ago, 70 years ago. It's unbelievable. Anyway, we sit and drink, it was hot, and then he said to me, Yassel, come down Mincha. So we went down to a little shtibale there, down Mincha. We finished Mincha, he said to me, Yassel, komm, lass mal reingehen zum Rebben, suchen Schule. I said, ich will nicht kein Rebbe, I don't want to Rebbe. I want to go to Rebbe. Sure. He didn't force me, but he said, komm around zum Rebbe. I met so many Rebbes in my life, and in the concentration camps, and this, it wasn't, I didn't care. That is one of my biggest charote that I have in my life, that I didn't go with him to the Rebbe. And you don't know who that Rebbe was.
Could it be the Chazon Ish?
Chazon Ish.
Sure.
Good friend. And after that, one cave near the other. He lies near the Chazon Ish. Because I was at the Levaya there, one cave near the other. He was very crucial when the Chaim Perl.
And Rav Kahneman, did you ever?
Sure, Kahneman was I drove him in Buenos Aires. He came for a campaign. I was asked that he's a Hushverov, I should take him. I had a car because I was a salesman for a while there with iron, with metal.
He used to come to South Africa often. The South African community had a very
such a small man by himself.
He was a giant. He was a giant. He was
and was so small, but I didn't even know. When I took him, I didn't know who he was really. Wow. But people asked me to do me a favor. I had a car, so I gave him a few lifts. He had a list where to go. He didn't know where to go. I took him. Yeah, it was a very, very, very down to earth.
Look how he built up Punovich.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know at the time. I didn't know when I met him. I thought a rabbi, okay, another rabbi. Yeah.
So this is a bit of a hard question.
Okay.
You've lived so many chapters, and you've done so much in your life. A remarkable life, an incredible life. You're now over 95. What is the next chapter?
Huh?
What is your next chapter for Josie Levkovich? What would you like to do with the remaining years?
I'm doing.
You're doing. What?
I'm not retired.
Yeah.
I speak every few days to students. I speak to university students. I spoke to Hadassah College here on the big Hadassah College. You know that. I spoke in universities, Hebrew University. I spoke in Herzliya University, IDC. I speak to all other colleges. I speak to girls' schools. I speak to Bes Yaakov. I speak to religious schools, to not religious schools. I speak to yeshivas. I speak to colleges. I speak to koilele.
And you took trips to Poland.
And I go to. They take me. They schlepp me to Poland to thousands and thousands of students.
He has books on it. You have so many books. Yeah, and I know people that have been with you. I know many people that have been with you.
The feedbacks, it's
incredible.
I have books of feedback. Every book, everything is written sentences. No, this is garnished. No.
No, but there are many of.
One I will show you just one. It is so many feedbacks.
This is Maor of Poland.
No idea. Feedback stories. People write. Students, here, the picture here.
Thank you, Rabbi Yosef.
Yeah.
It's from Machon Yaakov.
Rabbi Yaakov, yeah, but they go to Poland.
Gee.
Okay?
Yeah.
Look. Oops. So everything is a feedback from student. That's from student.
Wow, this is wonderful.
Student feedback. Everything is feedbacks. Rabbi Yosef, that's what call me.
Rabbi Yosef.
Yeah. All students here. So this is one thing. Let me show you. Here. Maor. Do you think I read all that? Everything is from a student. Everything is from a student.
Lovely, it's lovely.
Everything is from a student. Hundreds of students. Everybody said, just to read one. Thanks so much for your time, energy, and blessings. Thank you so much, Rabbi Yosef. That's how they call me, for being with us in Poland.
I feel so fortunate to have gotten to meet you and hear your story. I will carry your story with me for the rest of my life. So you've touched so many lives. You've touched so many people.
Feedback from thousands of students here. Every line is a WhatsApp or an email or whatever, or telephone call.
So every day, every day, this is.
I'm busy. I'm constantly busy.
You get calls to speak at all different today you were in Machon Lev, which is a very, very prestigious.
I spoke there to the all students, the whole.
It's a student for technological and.
Wait, if I find it, I'll show you. This is the most touched my heart. The most. Did I show you this? This is the shloshim that I had.
Oh, so at the shloshim for your son,
yeah,
it's,
I don't think...
After a month, look how many people came to the shloshim.
About the close to 300 people.
And you had the big Rabbi Ashabas.
Oh, yeah, the other big rabbanim there. That was very big. Let me just see, I'm looking for one thing. The pictures where you probably know much more of that than I do. I want to show you, they made a song for me.
Wow.
They made a song for me, and this is unbelievable. No, this is my wife's cave. This I gave a Sefer Torah here. This is Rav Karlbach, you know, from the Miro Yeshiva.
Yeah, and you gave it to the Mir?
No, I gave it here to the Besmedrash, here to our shul, in this building.
In this building.
This I show. Oops. Ooh. Oh, this is my son Tuvia. With an ankle, with his ankle.
With his.
This is the first boy.
Grandchild.
Yeah, but I want to show you here one. This is Rav Feiner. You know Rav Feiner? From the White Shul in the Five Towns? No, probably not. Famous New Yorker rabbi. This is Tovia with his son. Wait a minute. Oh, this is I lighted one Hanukkah lechtel in the Knesset. This wasn't the Knesset.
Wow, you were invited to the Knesset?
Invited to the Knesset to light the candle there. This was, when was that? In 2015.
2015, 6 years ago.
Yeah. Okay, so that was one thing.
Okay.
No, but I want to... This Rav, you know Rav Yaakov Hillel?
I've heard, sure.
Yaakov Hillel, but I want to show you one thing here. This is Yaakov Hillel, now this is... No. Oh, you know who he is? This was the Minister of Justice.
This is Irving Kotler.
This is Kotler, Irving Kotler.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Minister of Justice in Montreal, in Canada.
And now he's a Minister for Anti-Semitism.
Yeah,
he's
something
advisor
like that.
For anti-Semitism.
Yeah, so
he's got a home. He's got his daughter made Aliyah, and she was in the
Yeah. Irving Kotler, a friend of mine.
Also from Montreal.
Montreal, yeah. No, what is this? No. Just 1 minute. Maybe here. Krakow, she's also, I forgot who she is. She's also a minister from something. In American government. I forgot.
You're amazing.
I don't.
You're very good with the phone and.
Yeah, I don't remember who they are. There's so many. You know, today, two people came over today to me. 2 students in. But I want to show you the song that they made. That is unbelievable. It touched me to my bones. And here is a song. No, but where is the favorites? How do I find favorites?
And are they singing the song?
Yeah, they're singing the song. Where is the favorites? This is favorite or no?
So I will look.
This Ushava is, you see him there.
Very choshev, very important rabbi.
Yeah. I told him a story, so he said, I'm learning from Tovia. I'm learning from Tovia now. Embraced me and everything. No. This is the soda that I made, and this is Tovia with the wife. No. Just a minute. The favorites, where are the favorites? This is Rav Afrati, you know him?
I've heard of him, sure.
Yeah, the big guy. He's in Mexico, went tonight to Mexico. Just a minute. This the favorites? This the favorites, I think. Let's see, we'll go to favorites. Oh no, this is one. Just a minute. It must be here somewhere. I will see it in a minute. There's a group of people. But where is it? Always when I'm looking for it.
And Joseph, can I just ask, when you came here,
when I came,
you came alone. You came when you were 88, and you came.
I want to show you here. Yes. One minute. I want to show you to you here. You know what this is? You know where this is?
Is that in Wall Street, maybe?
Yeah. This is me talking to students. This is in Wall Street, but let me show you where you start. You see this sign? CNN. Where you know where he's here? On the floor of of Wall Street, the floor of dealing in the. No people can get in there.
Wow. It's on live on CNN.
CNN. He was a giant, interviewed by the most famous people everywhere. About the economy, Levkovich, U.S. economy, Tobias Levkovich, chief, here you have it, chief U.S. equity strategist.
Wow.
Big man, never such a terrible death, such a tragedy. This is am Sugar, you know that guy? Lippe, yeah, right.
Sure.
He caught me. He danced with me. That is Rav Center here. He's a very nice man. You know Rav Center now?
I've heard.
What?
Sure.
Just a minute. No, it's not that.
I'll help you look.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, when you
go ahead.
When you came here when you were 88 years old and you left your family.
When I came where?
When you made Aliyah, when you came to live in Israel.
88 years.
How did your family react, knowing that
they were trying to talk me out of it, and I wouldn't listen to them. I said I made up my mind, and I'm going to live in Israel. I'm going to settle in Israel because I want to live in Israel, and you will not stop me, and you will come to Israel.
And your son was here. Tuvia was here in July. He came.
Tuvia was here every year twice at least.
And you have a grandson living here.
Yeah, grandson. This is my other son's. My other Ziggy's son. Just a minute.
And please God, they will follow you.
What?
Please God, the family will follow you. They'll come here.
No, they come to visit very often.
And you happy you made the move?
Of course. And another thing, every day they call me.
I will look. I think I know how to do it.
Yeah. And the favorite.
And you have no regrets.
In June, it was June. In June, sometimes in June, after you go maybe to June 2019, 2020, something like that. June. It is very, very impressive.
Just let me just ask you have no regrets that you made Aliyah?
No, I'm very happy that I did. And I'm very happy being here. And I like being here.
And do you ever feel lonely?
Everybody's my friend. The whole city is all my friend. I'm telling you, the mayor Leon, Moshe Leon came here, kissed me, embraced me in the shiva. He doesn't go to every shiva.
No, he doesn't.
No. The mayor in the Yerushalayim is not such a small thing, because he deals with Christians, he deals with Arab. He's not just a mayor like another mayor. He's a big responsibility.
Okay.
It has a little heart there.
Yeah.
It's favorite, and it's a group.
So I'm going to send this to you. These are the favorites.
Okay. And I'll have to find it. I must find it. Because it's there. And it has a number 39, I think.
And is there any possibility that you're writing a book?
I wrote 2 books.
And are you writing another book?
There is something in the making, but I can't talk about it yet. It's something in the making, that something is being planned, but nothing definite yet.
And the movie that J. Roots made with you,
yeah,
it was very well received.
Yes, and it was the premiere I showed you.
In London, you had the premiere.
In London, my family came, was very successful, and was very, very, very big. And there was very big reception, and there was a lot of people, and it wasn't cheap, the tickets. It was not cheap. And here you have the president of today, today's president.
Herzog. So this is President Herzog. Wow, that's wonderful.
But I didn't look for him. I must find it. It must be here. But it's only a matter to. And always when I look for something, and here you have also. This was the. Prior mayor from
Nir Barkat. So my
yeah.
daughter works with Nir Barkat.
What?
My daughter works with Nir Barkat.
Oh, she works with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a member of the Knesset now.
Yeah.
It should have with a video, so I'll...
I will recognize it immediately. It must be, it is a group of people. Why shouldn't it be?
Who made the video? It was a group that you went with to Poland?
No, in Poland, one of the manhigim, one of the leaders, asked me a simple question. Oh, this is also a senator. This is Senator Cruz something?
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz, yeah. Yeah, this was his son. His son wanted to have a picture with him. No, but let me just. You can ask me meanwhile. I'll answer you what you want to know, and I will look here, and it must be here, and it must be here because this is all the favorites, and this has a favorite there. That thing.
And are you able to go to Har Menuchot, to the cemetery?
Of course.
And you go quite often?
What? I went there, but the burial I was there. I have it.
You have it?
Yes.
Wow. You never give up. It's amazing.
I went to the burial. Wait a minute. I told you it's 39, yeah. Remember?
Yeah.
Okay. It is here among the favorites. I went to the burial. I went at the end of the Shiva. After 7 days, we went there. And at the end of the Shloshim, we went. And when my son was here, Ziggy, we went. And before my daughter left, we went. So, and now we're waiting to make the Mitzvah. And they're a little slow. It should, here they put usually 30 days or something. They're a little slow. Now, okay, this is a group of people, and you will listen to them. It's in English.
Okay.
So one of the leaders asked me, Rabbi Yosef, did you like the song? I said, what song? Say, the song we were singing all that trip for the whole week. Oh yeah, very nice song. I heard it. Yeah, it was nice. Did you listen to the words? I said, no. Guys, come here. He said, guys, come here. And here they are. Oh, you can't hear. Wait. I'm trying out hearing aids. This is.
Okay. Oh, it's.
Just a minute. Yeah, you couldn't hear because it's... Wait a minute. I'm trying out hearing aid. I can hear. But sometimes if you talk straight to me, I hear. If you talk like this, I can.
Okay.
So I've said, if I can hear, if I can have hearing aid, now let me. So it is on Bluetooth, so it goes directly to the ears. Okay. Just a minute.
I think we have to switch off the Bluetooth.
Yes. So how do you switch off? How do I switch off? That takes a little while until it comes always. Oh, I could have done something else. Okay, too late. I could have done... okay, I switch off. How do I close it? I was ready to leave. Did you have the words?
Are they singing Yosef?
Okay.
We're going to hear it again?
Again. Now I'll tell you what they sing. Rabbi Yosef, your mommy saved my life. Rabbi Yosef. Your mommy saved my life.
You saved my life. Wow.
This is already doctors, degrees, masters.
Wow.
They are not children anymore. They're already grown up. They are graduated from MIT, Yale, different universities. Yeah, this is no children. This is already.
And when was this done?
In Auschwitz.
How long ago?
In 2019.
Wow. And they made the song for you, and they would play this on the bus?
Here I have it. Now in Krakow, here I have it. January... Just a minute.
Can we play it again?
Look, what one is it? January... Here you have it written exactly where it was and when it was.
2020?
Yeah.
This is just before...
Already, I think I got there the Your mommy saved my life. Rabbi Yosef, your mommy saved my life. Talk to them, I talked to them, I wake them up, they were sleeping.
Wow.
So they made a song, Mommy saved my life, and this is already not children, this is already, yeah.
Joseph, I cannot thank you enough. I think we've done all the questions. And
if you have anyone,
for hours, you could
anyone there more to finish it, and that was it.
But we could speak more for hours and hours and
days, months,
days and days and days.
Yeah.
Just the last question. I think this is a very hard question. How are you coping with your son passing away? It must be so difficult. That you still have your emunah, you still have your faith. Because it's not easy for a parent. Lo aleinu, it's...
That's not a Seder HaOlam.
It's not the way of the world.
The Seder HaOlam is that children bury parents, not the other. What can I do? Can't do anything. Can't bring him back. Every day I miss him. Every day I'm suffering, because every day I had this call and I saw him here live.
Sure.
On that apple of the thorn. talk and
Face talk.
we see each other. What can I tell you? It is not easy, but I can't kill myself.
But Joseph, you still have your faith in Hashem?
Then nothing happened by itself. This is all. Today I spoke. You know what I said? First of all, I described him. I talk about him, what he was, and I said there are two things. You don't have to.
No, it's very important.
One thing I said, we know that the Rabbeinu Shalom
God
gives out the psak din in Rosh Hashanah. Milachayim, milamuves.
Who will live and who will not live in Rosh Hashanah.
So the Rabbeinu Shalom gave out the psak that he will come to heaven and Tuf Shi and Pei Aleph. He could have killed him a day after Rosh Hashanah, or 2 days, or a week, or a month.
Died, yeah.
So he gave him a whole year. I didn't start to speak like this. I started different. My son told me, Daddy, I am having the highest salary of the corporation. There's no higher of the salary that I get. The CEO and the CFO, whatever, this is the highest salary. And I'll tell you a secret. From the highest salary, I can't make a living. I need a lot. Stukes, I need a lot. Where do I make a living? From my bonuses. My bonuses are big. Because he brings in a few $100 million a year to the corporation with his speeches, with his writing. You know that Wall Street made a index, the Levkovich index?
Is it called the Levkovich?
The Levkovich index. It will be forever now. Like all the other indexes. Dow Jones, Standard & Poor's, Nasdaq, so many different other.
Now there's the Levkovich.
Levkovich index now. So he said, so I started the speech like this. My son told me he has the highest salary, but he couldn't make a living for it. The bonuses, that's where he got money, and that's why he could give millions of dollars at Stoker. He gave millions of dollars
for charity.
Yeah. So the Rabbeinu Shalom gave him also a bonus. Because the psak din came out in Rosh Hashanah Pei Aleph that he is coming up to heaven. He could have brought him up a week after Rosh Hashanah, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. He gave him the whole year a bonus till a few days before Rosh Hashanah when he went to Slichas. So he had a bonus to Rabbeinu Shalom. We look back a year, a whole full year. And the other thing, when was he taken away his life? When he went to Shul to say Slichas. When he went to Ladvar Mitzvah.
He went to pray early in the morning.
Two great companies that accompanied him to Olam Haba. One is on the derech to do my mitzvah, to daven, to say Slichas. And the other one, the bonus that I showing him a whole year. Two very important things.
There are no words.
So
it's very profound what you've just said. It's very, very emotional, and it's very true.
So that's what I saw. Among other things, there isn't a country in the world that the biggest business people in the world don't know his name.
But he was a modest.
Tobias Levkovich.
But your son was very modest. He was a very modest.
Any Joe Blow came to him to talk, he will listen until he finish, and he will never say. And his mind was spinning. He had so many on his mind every day. What he does in a day, people take weeks. And he would never say to anybody, to Joe Blow, make it short because I'm in a rush. He would listen till the end, and he will answer whatever he had to answer him. big men or small men? I told that to Rav Usha Weiss. So he said, I thank you very much for telling me that, but I am saying many times to people when they come with a long story, I said, make it short. I learned from Tuvia, I'll never say again, make it short.
And Tuvia Ashavas is one of the great rabbis. He really is.
Gedolei Ador. In years now, a little more, another few years, he's already world name.
His mother was also a survivor
just
from
passed
the
away.
camps. Just passed away.
I went to the Shiva house, just passed away a few weeks ago. He came to my Shiva and I went to his Shiva 2 weeks later. Yeah. Anyway, so he said, I learned something from Tuya. I will never say again, to make it short. I myself, when I go on those trips, and hundreds of them come and surround me, and a lot of them very unhappy. Those youngsters are many of them are very unhappy, and they have tremendous stories. And I have learned a lot. I could be a rabbi, I could be a lawyer, I could be a psychologist, I could be whatever you want. I learned so much from them, and they want me to give them some advice. And what I know is a little human sense, that is common sense. So I answer them common sense, what to do. I tried my best. But again, I have so many that came, that surround me on those trips. And here also, when I went to it last Thursday, I went to a yeshiva to speak. And then the Rosh Yeshiva asked me, there were the place, how many buchim? 170 were there.
Students.
Yeah. So he asked me if I would answer questions. So I answered the questions. So, but there was maybe 7, 8, 9 questions. And then I said, last question. The last question. And yeah, then the Rosh Yeshiva said, guys, if you want a bucher, line up. So I had maybe 100 of them lining up. And everybody comes for a bucher. I said, I'm not a Rebbe. No, the Satmar Rebbe said, if you see a survivor, go to as a bucher. The other, what is it?
To get a blessing from a survivor.
What?
To get a blessing from a survivor. It's
Klosenberger Rebbe, the Klosenberger also. So they like.
Jose, I just want to thank you, and I just want to mention something. Your son and your children and everybody who knows you, your wife and you, have instilled these values. And I think it's the zchut of your parents and of your grandparents that they instilled in you that you've brought to the next generations. And you know,
I do what I can.
May your son's memory be for eternal blessing, and may you just only know Besorot of it, only good news and good things, and all of Hashem's blessings, which you so deserve. But I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm so grateful to you. I really am.
Okay, you're very welcome, no problem.